Hey everyone, today I'm going to be sharing with you some studying tips for when you have ADHD. Truth be told, from a couple of years ago until quite recently, I was actually failing nearly all of the modules I was doing in university due to the common ADHD difficulties like concentration and just really bad memory. However, I learned from my mistakes and have developed a couple of studying tips which I'm going to be sharing with you in this video. And I think they work quite well because I don't fail anymore. So the tips are: number 1. Relate everything back to your interests. Number 2. Build upon your knowledge. Number 3, and this is going to be a controversial one, but don't shy away from cramming if it works for you. Finally, number 4. Learn to learn from your mistakes. So the first one, relating everything back to your interests. You might have already seen that when you're really into something, you can focus on it for hours and hours in almost an obsessive kind of way. But when you're not interested in something, you just can't concentrate on it at all. This tip essentially utilizes that concept to kind of hack your mind into doing things that it wouldn't necessarily be interested in doing. It might sound simple, but this tip is actually incredibly useful, particularly when you can't start studying. So say you're interested in sports and you have to study about finance. Utilize the concept of sports and try to understand your financial concepts in terms of selling or buying of players or teams. Or say, for example, you're interested in music and you have to study physics. Try to understand your instrument in terms of the actual physical laws. So for example, when you're strumming your guitar, the air, how it vibrates and things like that. Really relate all of your interests to your study and you'll find that it actually becomes quite simple. So a personal example, I love understanding how things work theoretically. So the thing I had most difficulty with in college were the modules that were full of equations and numerical formulas, where you had to write down things. I like understanding things in my head, so those modules I just couldn't do them. So to get around that, what I did was I went out of my way to actually find the theoretical information behind the equations, which wasn't taught, and I tried to understand every single part of them. So suddenly, when I went to practice the equations, they weren't just numbers and numbers and letters anymore. I actually understood them because I understood the theory behind them, and I was actually interested in learning them because they were just more information on what I was already interested in. Now, number 2 is related to number 1, and I've actually seen quite a lot of people with ADHD talk about this. Basically, for me, it's very difficult to just learn a thing off by itself. I need to learn everything from the basics up. Now, that's true for everyone, but especially us who have ADHD, and it makes sense as well. We have bad memories, so if you just give me information, of course I won't be able to randomly remember it. For example, if I had to learn off A times B times C times D squared over root 521 for my exams, I wouldn't be able to remember that, or at least it'd be very difficult. But if I learned the theory behind it, if I actually build up my knowledge from the basics up, now it's no longer random letters and numbers. Now it's apples times bananas times carrots times diamonds squared. Yeah, let's go with that. Of course, this will take you longer, but it's definitely worth it. Now, number 3, cramming. I had a man in his mid-30s who went to college as an adult in his mid-20s tell me that he essentially passed his exams by cramming. He said, if it works for you, don't give it up. And it's true. Just a couple of days before the exams, I can actually remember and study much better than I could before. Of course, this isn't for everyone. Don't go out of your way to leave things to the last minute just so you can cram them. That's not smart. But if cramming works for you, don't shy away from it just because everyone's telling you that it's bad. If it works for you, then it works for you. It doesn't have to work for everyone, but if it works for you, don't drop it. Finally, number 4, learn to learn from your mistakes. Now, this is actually a studying tip because when you have ADHD, you become quite used to failing over and over and over again. Most people with ADHD don't go to college, and the ones that do, they usually end up dropping out. And that makes sense. If you fail something over and over and over and over, it wears away at your self-esteem and your self-confidence. But if you keep letting failure get in your way, especially when you have ADHD, the life ahead is going to be very difficult. So remember, treat every failure as a learning opportunity You might fail 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. That just means more experience to try to beat it the 7th time. And that's it for this video. If you guys have any topics you want me to cover, comment in the comment section. If you guys have exams coming up, good luck, and thanks for watching.